Thanks for tuning in to You See Me, focusing on the battle of self-love, acceptance, abuse, spirituality, and much more. Your host, Tina Wynn, will be sharing various ways and strategies that she used to overcome grief, addiction, and depression. You See Me is a self-expressed term Tina uses as a way of making people see the real you. For people to see you, you must first see yourself.
Hi, guys, and welcome back to another episode of You See Me. I am your host, Tina Wynn, and thank you guys for coming to see me. I have been seeing y'all. I hope you guys have been enjoying seeing yourselves. So, guys, in recap of last week's episode, we discussed being good leaders and good followers because we all want to be good followers of the leader, which is Christ. And Tina is hopeful that Christ is leading all of you guys' lives. So, as I was thinking, because you guys all know that's what Tina does. Tina is a thinker. I was thinking of, the joke I made about being a teacher. And, in order to be a teacher, you have to be a thinker. At least that's my belief. And that was always a double-edged sword for Tina. Not so much for Quita. Tina was always a good teacher. Quita just wasn't always a good teacher. When I think of teachers, what is a teacher? A teacher is someone that is leading someone to acquire knowledge and competence in a certain area. It led me to think about what have I been taught and what am I teaching people? See, because when Quita was out here in these streets, Quita was able to easily get people to follow her. Remember our Follow a Leader episode last week. I was always able to get people to follow me, but what was I teaching them? I was teaching them to be damaged, to be broken, to be lost, just like me, because I didn't see myself, guys. So when Tina started thinking, well, what kind of teacher do you want to be, Tina? You're able to teach, but what kind of teacher? When I think about the teachers that I've encountered in life, it made me realize I've learned more from people that was never even trying to teach me anything than from the people that were in my life that were trying to teach me something. And that's because I was following the wrong people, guys. I was teaching myself how to be exactly like the people in my life. So the things that I was teaching was the things that I was encountering. And a lot of times, because we are all teachers in our own rights, it's just because in some way, shape, fashion, or form, people are watching what we do. It's a matter of what are we displaying? Because the role of a teacher is to lead by example. Your students learn because they see you putting into practice what it is that you are teaching. So I had to teach myself how to turn every one of my negatives into a positive, to inspire, to motivate, and to encourage myself. I had to teach myself, guys, because life didn't teach Quita how to do that. Life taught Quita how to sit and soak in her misery, how to take on other people's problems. Life taught Quita how to not see herself because there was never time in my life to see myself. There wasn't time to teach myself anything because all of my time and my attention was spent trying to teach other people stuff. And sometimes in life we do that, guys. We'll try to teach somebody something And people look at us like we completely crazy because they don't see us practicing what it is that we preaching. And the teacher, you might as well say, is another form of a preacher. You're teaching me something. So how is it that you're teaching me something that you yourself is not putting into practice? And you lose a lot of your students that way. And that's what Quita did. Quita spent a lot of time losing people. See, people wanted to hang out with Quita because Quita was into a lot of things. Quita could teach you how to make a quick dollar. Quita could teach you how to flip that quick dollar. And but the things I was teaching people was not getting anyone ahead. It wasn't getting me ahead. It was digging me further and further and further. Again, I was too busy. I was too busy into everything that everybody had going on. I had no time for Tina. I had no time for Tina. I had to teach myself, guys, how to disconnect. How to disconnect by disassociating. And sometimes people may feel like, oh, it's not good to disassociate. But sometimes, in order to truly connect to God, you must disconnect from what's around you and what's on you. See, back when Quita was knee deep in her mess, I didn't know how to teach myself anything. I didn't know how to disconnect. I didn't know I was so connected to what was going on around me. Remember, what type of connections are we making? I was connected to everything and everyone around me except me. Except me. Disassociating from what was going on around me was the only way that I knew how or learned how. I had to teach myself how to connect with me, how to see spirit, how to understand me. If I was going to understand life, I had to understand me first. And a lot of us, we want to teach ourselves how to do things in life without teaching ourselves how to deal with us first, because the only way you're going to make it through life is to know how to deal with you. If you don't know how to deal with you, then how are you ever going to truly be able to deal with anything or anyone? Some of the teachings in life has left things on us, guys. It left things on us. Growing up, I grew up in a neighborhood where if you didn't stand up for yourself, you was getting pushed around, you was getting bullied, you was getting taken advantage of. So you had to teach yourself how to fight, whether you wanted to fight or not. Either you was going to teach yourself how to defend yourself, or you was going to teach yourself how to get taken advantage of, because not every lesson follows the curriculum. Some teachers, they teach you, but they're not teaching you the lesson that you signed up to learn. And life is one of those teachers. Life is going to teach you how to be strong, you will have an array of things that will come from life. Is all in which lessons you choose to apply to your life. What are you choosing to teach yourself, and what are you choosing to teach others? See, today Tina chooses to teach herself how to love, how to forgive, how to accept. That's something that I didn't know how to teach people. I knew how to teach people how to be petty, how to hold grudges, how to talk about people, how to get in and out of mess. But now that it comes time to teach myself how to properly love myself, how to properly see myself, how to properly see others, I stumble. Tina stumbles. And that comes from years of the things the negative things that I was teaching myself. Again, remember, what are we teaching ourselves? What have we been taught, and what are we teaching others? What are we teaching ourselves? Because everything that we teach ourselves is what we'll end up teaching other people. I can only give you guys and come before you guys because, again, these are just my thoughts. And I can only come before you guys and share you guys my thoughts on things that I've been taught and things that I believe to be true. I'm not going to go around teaching things that I know are not true or that I myself don't believe to be true. So this is why we have to be good leaders and followers too, because what are we following, and what teachings are we following? Are the things that we being taught true? I was teaching myself, guys. Quita was teaching herself how to lie to herself because I didn't see myself. So I was living in a complete state of confusion. And that's why Tina teaches love. Because when you don't love yourself, you accept anything. Anything people come, you will follow. You will lead them right into some teachings that will have you all all over the place. All over the place, not seeing yourself. And those ain't the things that I want to teach myself. I want to teach people how to see themselves. And the way that I teach people how to see themselves is by them seeing me embrace life. People see me go through everyday life. They see me up, they see me down, they see me deal with everyday life. I'm not out here pretending life is this grand old cakewalk, and I'm not down in blue acting like I'm on my ropes end. I deal with life the way it comes at me, but I do it with a heart full of joy, with a mind and a heart full of faith, and I speak peace over myself. See, we have to teach ourselves, guys, while we're teaching ourselves these lessons. We have to teach ourselves how to not only love ourselves, but to speak peace over ourselves, to speak peace over our situations. Remember, the only way that we're going to get joy, obtain joy, keep joy, is to see a way out of our situation. If we are teaching ourselves and telling ourselves that there is no way out of our situation, then that's what we're going to teach the people around us, everybody that follows us and everybody that comes in contact with us. Because remember, spirits need something to latch onto. We're going to teach them that when the winds of life start to blow, to crawl up in your bed and lose faith. That's not what Tina wants to teach people. So when things happen in my life, because things do happen in my life, I still go at it with a heart of joy. I still go at it desperate for God, desperate for Him to change the situation, desperate knowing that He's going to change the situation. I keep a time is now a growth mindset. As long as I'm putting things into action and making new connection, you got to tie all of these pieces of, you got to teach yourself how to tie the pieces together. You got to take inventory of what you have inside of you and tie it and piece it all together, because it all has to align mind, body, and soul. You got to teach yourself that. That is a teaching that you must teach yourself how to do, how to be in alignment with you, how to love you, how to accept you. Because if not, you're going to be just running around taking on the teachings of everything you come in contact with. Not only is the people around you going to get what you have inside, because that's what you're going to let out, but you're going to end up taking all of that in. And that's what Quita did. Quita took on all of that. I was angry. I was bitter. And remember, anger's one letter short of danger. I was living in dangerous territory. All because I didn't see myself. All because I refused to see myself. Because life taught me that I wasn't pretty enough. Life taught me that I didn't fit in with the crowd. Life taught me that the things that I thought wasn't normal and wasn't okay. But what is normal and what is okay? We have to teach ourselves that what we want out of life, we can have. We have to teach ourselves that our thoughts are our thoughts. And that's it. His thoughts ain't our thoughts, his ways ain't our ways, and neither is nobody else on the face of this earth. Everybody has a mind of their own, and we have to teach ourselves to stop letting people think for us. That was one of Quita's biggest issues. I allowed people to think for me. People was teaching me stuff, but they didn't teach me how to think for myself. I wasn't a good follower. I wasn't a good leader. I wasn't a teacher. I wasn't nothing. I was teaching myself how to be a complete dummy. And remember, for wisdom, I had knowledge. I had the experience. I didn't have no good judgment. I wasn't wise. I was just a walking vessel of knowledge. You ever met somebody that's so smart they stupid? That was Quita. Because I overthought everything. I took on everything. I thought I knew everything. I wasn't a listener. And again, you got to be a good listener as well. You got to teach yourself to listen. Most of what we need to know about people, they're going to teach us. People will teach you exactly who they are. Are you listening? Because most of what we need to know about people, they teach us. They tell you exactly who they are, what they about, what they finna lead you into, and what it is that you finna get up out of them.
Hey, 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 how you guys doing? This is Regina Hutt, the wellness practitioner at Empower Mornings. Join me every Monday at noon to work out with Regina on One Network.
See, when people encounter me, instantly people know, oh, she's a thinker. Because I always leave people with something to think about. That's what I'm teaching. I don't care what it is, I'm going to leave you with a thought. People could never say, oh, I came in Tina's, even nor Quita's, that they came into my space and I didn't teach them something, that they didn't learn something from me. It may not be what they was looking to learn from me, but somehow, some way they learned something. And maybe I learned something from them. But I've also taught myself not to see, because in this process of following Christ, I have to teach myself not to take on everyone's problems, because I have to learn not to take away from me. And sometimes when we want to teach people things and we're full of information and we're full of knowledge and we want to share these things with people, we take on what they have and then no lessons is getting taught. You have the blind leading the blind, because you make their problem. See, as the teacher, you can't get caught up with your lesson. That's why they make teachers plan out their lessons, so that you have a order in which things are implemented, an order in which you incorporate things and things to follow. You're not just taking on everything that comes at you. You have to be adaptable to be a good teacher. Being a good teacher comes with being adaptable. You need to know what's working and what's not working. See, Quita never knew what was working for her, what wasn't working for her, because Quita didn't know herself. Quita didn't know how to be honest with people and how to say, this wasn't for me. I was too scared to speak up. And one of the things about being a teacher, you have to have a voice. I've never met a teacher that was afraid to speak. You have to be able to be a good public speaker, because that is your role. You're speaking to people to teach them the knowledge that you have. How will people know what you know if you don't speak up? So when Tina did start to speak up and Tina did gain a voice, I allowed Quita to take back over, and I allowed Quita's mindset of not feeling like she was good enough and allowing people to say, oh, you don't know what you're talking about. And I went off of other people's teachings instead of the teachings of my own. I didn't teach myself how to think for myself until I became seasoned in seeing myself. Because it's a process, guys. Remember, all of these things that I talk to you guys about is a process and require time. I was reading some of my feedback, and I've had a person tell me that, oh, I've tried it and I haven't seen any result. Well, have you given time? Because that was one of the episodes. Are you listening? How hard are you listening? Because don't just follow me. Gain from my teachings, because that's what I'm here doing. I'm trying to teach you how to follow Christ by being an example of what to do. And if you're not allowing time, and you're not going through the process, then of course you're not going to see no results. You can't sit and watch 2 episodes and read 3 scriptures and think that the lesson is complete. No, these teachings are lifelong. This is a lifelong teaching. My teachings have no end. My daughter, me and my daughter, we sit and we joke, because she says to me, Mom, your speeches are never ending. She calls my lessons, I call them lessons. She calls my lessons speeches. But they're actually teaching her stuff. They're teaching her how to get through life, and they're teaching her good things, because she's witnessed Quita teach people how to do a lot of negative things. But she's also witnessed Tina, as her mother, teach people how to love, teach people how to forgive. See, I teach her how not to live the life Quita lived by being an example through Tina. And that's the only way that we can be good teachers, is by being good examples. Are you a good example of what it is that you're teaching? Because again, it's not the people who was trying to teach me anything that taught me anything. It's the people who were leading by example that I chose to follow. Remember, followers and leaders. I chose to follow the leaders of the community, the leaders that I knew was going to lead me to Christ, that was going to lead me out of what it was that I was feeling. And I taught myself how to be self-disciplined. I went through the process and gave myself time. I obtained a growth mindset. And that's what we have to learn how to do. A lot of us, we go into this process thinking that it's going to teach us how to live a whole new life overnight. And that's not what it's teaching us. It's teaching us how to live life on life terms. It's teaching us how to live life day by day. And it's a day by day teaching. Every day you'll learn a new lesson. Some lessons you may get over and over again, depending on if you got it the first time, because sometimes life is going to teach you the same lesson more than once. And sometimes some of us need Quita definitely needed to go through some of these teachings and some of these lessons of life more than once. Because Quita was hard-headed, and she still is. But Tina has taught herself. I use the tools. I take inventory of what it is that I have inside. Every day I teach myself a new thing about myself. I sit down and take time with myself. Again, remember, how much time are you spending with self? Because to teach yourself self-discipline and how to be focused and disciplined in God, and that takes time. How much time are you spending with yourself? That is a lesson. You have to teach yourself that. And you have to be around people who are going to teach you how to do that. I connect and I network with people who organize their time, who keep me focused and who keep me organized. I have tasks, I have deadlines, I have things that I am required to complete with people. And I take their time serious because I hope that they would take mine serious. These are the things that I teach myself how to do. Because just because a person doesn't get the lesson you teaching doesn't mean that a lesson wasn't taught. Sometimes I know you guys say, this girl comes before us sharing all her thoughts and all her opinions, and what is it that she's really teaching us? Well, I'm teaching you guys the way in which I learned how to love myself. And by being an example of how I learned how to love myself, maybe by practicing it, it will teach you guys how to love yourself. Is there some long drawn out plan on how to do that? No, because everybody's results is going to be different. Again, a good teacher is adaptable. I know what's working and what's not. I can't come at everybody the same way because everybody's not going to get it the same way. Some people are visual learners, some people are cognitive learners. Every teacher can't teach every student the same thing the same way because everybody's not going to get it the same way. So I hope that these shows are informative to you guys. I hope that I am teaching you guys that just like you, I am just a everyday girl. You see me. That is the purpose of the show, is to see yourself, is to see me, because we deal with a bunch of spirits in this world that we must live amongst, that we have to know how to deal with. And the only way to know how to deal with them spirits is to teach ourselves to test the spirit by the spirit. And you have to see yourself in order to do that. So I want you guys to teach yourself how to love yourself, teach yourself how to see other people, how to see yourself. Be a good teacher, because remember, people follow you, people watch you. And whether your intentions is to teach them or not to teach them, they are learning the things that you are putting forth out of you, whether it be a good lesson or whether it be a bad lesson. So let your lessons be good. Go out, see yourself, come back and see me right here every Saturday on the We Empower Network at 4 and on all my other social platforms. Be of good faith and of good courage. I am your host, Tina Wynn, and thank you for joining me.